Hey, what is up, y'all? Today we're back with another video, and today we have NFL predictions week 14. Now, I did not make a vid last week for those predictions, simply because I was with family on Thanksgiving, so couldn't really make the video, so that's why I didn't. But we're back this week, and we're gonna be back better than ever. First game right now, even though I'm a little bit late to it, but the game just started, so it's not gonna really sway my pick that much. I'm Cowboys-Lions. This game's gonna be pretty good. Both teams are fighting for a chance at that playoff spot at the 7th seed in the NFC. But I think the Lions are a better team. They have struggled in recent weeks, and the Cowboys have had huge success in recent weeks. But I think the Lions will beat the Cowboys with a score of 27-24, because they're still probably mad about that game in 2023 against them where they lost because of a offensive lineman. So I think the Lions will beat them. Now for the 1 o'clock games. Seahawks, Falcons. Seahawks shut out the Vikings with that quarterback Grosmer having one of the worst welcome to the NFL games of all time. 4 picks, man. That's terrible. And the Falcons, who lost to the New York Football Jets, so that's not good. I think the Seahawks will beat the Falcons, even though this would be the game the Falcons would win out of all games. I think the Seahawks defense will be way too much for Cousins. And if they can stop Bijan, I don't think Falcons will be able to get much going on offense. And the Seahawks have played like one of the best teams in the league this year. So I think the Seahawks will beat the Falcons 31-7. Now, my Bengals are playing the Bills. The Bengals beat the Ravens on Thanksgiving night. After their defense actually played good against Baltimore with 5 turnovers. And Burrow looked okay after coming off of that injury. So things are looking good, but I personally don't want them to win this game because I want them to have a better pick. But I'm going to pick honestly. And the Bills struggled in the first half against Pittsburgh, but got things going in the second half and ended up destroying them. And I think the Bills are going to cut through the Bengals defense like butter, and it's not going to be fun. The game's going to be good, though. I think the game's going to have a score of 34-31 in Buffalo's favor. Now for the worst game of the week. We have the Titans and we have the Browns. The Browns are starting Shedeur Sanders, who's played pretty decently so far. I wouldn't say he's played incredibly, but he's played pretty good for a 5th round pick. And the Titans are just maybe one of the worst teams They're the worst team I've seen since the 2020 Jets. That's saying something. So I'm not sure who's gonna win, but if you pick Tennessee, you're insane. You need to go to a insane asylum, because I think the Browns will just shut down Cam Ward in that offense. Cam Ward's done pretty good considering who he has around him as a rookie. So I'm not sure, but the Browns are going to beat the Titans with a score of 20-3. Just by how I saw last week, it was not pretty. Commanders and Vikings, another bad game. But one thing is that the Commanders have a quarterback that doesn't play like trash. So I think the Commanders will beat the Vikings. No, doesn't matter if Daniels plays or doesn't, they'll still win because I would take almost any quarterback over J.J. McCarthy or Brossheimer. So the Commanders win with a score of 31-17 because the Vikings always get off to a pretty decent start. Now we have the Dolphins and Jets. The Dolphins have played pretty good football in recent weeks. The Jets look way better with Tyrod playing. They beat the Falcons. And this is going to be a funny game for this. We'll see if the Jets can win, and we'll see if the Dolphins are going to make it to with a record of 6-7. So that's the thing. It's not going to mean anything in the long run, though. I think the Jets are going to beat the Dolphins simply because I don't believe in Tua. I don't believe in Tua one bit. So I think the Jets will beat the Dolphins with a score of 27-21. It's going to be a good game because Devon Achane is really good. Waddle's good. But in a rivalry game, anything can happen. I think the Jets will win. And there's the Bucks and there's the Saints. The Saints, like I predicted, have been one of the worst teams in football. They haven't been as bad as I thought they were, though. And they're going up a Bucks team who struggled in recent weeks, but they beat the Cardinals, so that should be some momentum for them. And the Saints are worse than the Cardinals, so that's good for Tampa, and I think Tampa will improve to 8-5 and improve their mark on that division, winning with a score of 27-10. There's the Colts and Jaguars. A huge thing is that it's in Jacksonville. The Colts have not beaten the Jags in Jacksonville since 2012 or 2013. It's been a long time. No matter how bad like in 2020 when the Jags were 1-15, their only win was against the Colts in Jacksonville. The Colts were a playoff team that year. So it seems like there's some black magic against the Colts in Jacksonville. But I think this year it's going to change. I think the Colts are going to beat Jacksonville simply because I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence. I believe more in Daniel Jones with a fractured fibula than Trevor Lawrence. And that's not a good sign. I think the Colts, with Jonathan Taylor, are going to be able to run all over them. They're going to win in Jacksonville for the first time in a long time with a score of 24-17. Now we have one of the best rivalry games in recent memory, the Steelers and Ravens. This is going to be a game for the division, potentially, because both teams are 6-6, and they have 2 games to play against each other left. This is going to be huge for playoffs. Because, quite frankly, I don't think either team is going to make it if they don't win their division. And I think Lamar is going to bounce back after a rough month of football. And I think Pittsburgh's just going to struggle again. They have struggled heavily in recent weeks, and Baltimore's been on the ascent. I think Baltimore's going to beat Pittsburgh with a score of 17-13, because these games are always low scoring, very defensive battles. So that's it. And there's the Broncos and there's the Raiders. The Raiders have are also one of the worst teams in the league, even though they have talent on offense. And the Broncos are 10-2, but they've squeaked by bad teams. They barely beat the Raiders on Thursday Night Football a couple of weeks ago. They barely beat the Commanders. They barely beat the Jets. They barely beat the Giants. Those are bottom feeders, and they're barely getting by them. So this game's going to be close, but I think Denver's going to beat Las Vegas with a score of 17-14. There's the Bears and there's the Packers. The Bears have proven themselves against the Eagles, in my opinion, because the Eagles are pretty good. And the Packers beat the Lions on Thanksgiving, which is not really a surprise. The Lions usually lose on Thanksgiving, but still a good win for them. I think the Packers are going to continue to own the Bears, beating the Bears with a score of 30-24. And there's the Rams and there's the Cardinals. Cardinals have played really good on offense in recent weeks with Jacoby Brissett. And the Rams just came off a loss to Carolina, who's the most inconsistent team in the league, as you could see by their record. And I think the game's going to be close like it always is with Arizona. I think the Rams are going to bounce back, beating the Cardinals with a score of 33-30. Now for the Sunday night football game. Huge for the potential playoff seeding. The Texans versus the Chiefs. I think Houston's going to win. Their Chiefs' offense is much better than Houston's, but Houston's defense is the best in the league, one of the best I've seen in recent memory. So I think they'll be able to shut down Kansas City, which they have been able to do, which even though their offense isn't good, in recent weeks they've been winning because of their defense. And I don't think that's going to continue to change, even though Kansas City, who's basically pinned against the wall. I don't think Kansas City will win, though, simply because Houston's on a hot streak. They've played incredible defense. I think Houston's going to beat Kansas City with a score of 21-17. Now for the Monday night game, there's the Eagles and there's the Chargers. Justin Herbert's going to be playing with a fractured finger. Not in his throwing hand, but that's something to say because after that injury, he didn't play too hot against the Raiders even though they won. And the Eagles are coming off of back-to-back losses to the Cowboys and to the Bears, who are no slouches, but I think they should have won those games. But one thing is that they probably would have beaten the Bears if they could stop the run. And one thing is I know for a fact is that the Chargers don't have as good backs as the Bears, so I don't think they are going to get ran over. And I think Herbert should have a better day against the Chargers defense and the Bears. Also, you saw what A.J. Brown did when he got targeted. He had a feast on Black Friday. I think the Eagles are going to beat the Chargers and stay alive for that 1 seed with a score of 20-17. The bye week teams are the Pats, the Giants, the Niners, and the Panthers. This is the last week of bye weeks, so that's good for us. See you guys next time. Peace.